What is going on, you guys? My name is David Ragambe, and today, as you can tell, we are talking about how to live a high testosterone lifestyle. Now, I want to make my intentions clear. I'm making this for the guys who don't really know too much about testosterone. They don't know how to build testosterone, or they have low testosterone. So, for a lot of gym goers, some may not know what I'm talking about in this video, but some do. Again, I just want to make my intentions clear. I'm just here to give as much value as possible for those who do not know. So let's get right into it. Firstly, as you can see, this is me from 2019 to now. As you can see, in 2019, I was weak. Uh, I was a twig, man. Okay, I had no confidence whatsoever. I did not like how I looked, and as you can see, I'm wearing a tank top. And as you can see in 2022, the reason why I was wearing that tank top, I had gyno. Yes, I had gynecomastia. I'm a lifetime natural, by the way. But the reason why I wanted to make this video was because throughout puberty, throughout growing up, I had low testosterone, which is what caused my gyno, right? We're going to get a little bit deeper into that as we go into the video. But I just want to tell you now that there is no remedy for gyno, right? Now, you can lessen gyno as you lower your body fat, and as you gain weight, right, the gyno gets bigger. Me personally, I had surgery just about a year ago now. One of the best decisions in my life. If you're on the fence about it, I 100% recommend it. But this is the effects of low testosterone. This is something that you can minimize, but you cannot get rid of. So, what is testosterone and how does it work? Testosterone is a major factor in how your body functions from head to toe. Testosterone is an androgen, a sex hormone produced in the testes for men. Testosterone works by binding to receptors, flipping genes, converting into other key hormones, and regulating growth, metabolism, mood, and reproduction. What happens when you have low test? You have low energy and mood issues, chronic fatigue, brain fog, defection, and loss of confidence or drive. Who wants that, right? Number two, more body fat and poor metabolism. You increase belly and visceral fat, worse insulin sensitivity, high risk of metabolic problems, loss of muscle and strength, harder to build or keep muscle, strength declines, recovery slows down, weaker bones, sexual problems. Now, weaker erections. This is what it costs to have low testosterone. And let me tell you something, the average man today has very, very, very low testosterone. So this is why I'm making this video, because there are a lot of people who want to solve this problem. They feel emasculated, they feel weak, they don't feel like how they should feel, how they were born to feel. And that's the problem. They're suffering with these problems. They're suffering from chronic fatigue, they're suffering from lack of muscle gain or even weight gain and weak erections. Like, this is not normal, fellas. Let me tell you that. So let's hop into the next one. And number six, as you can see, man boobs. This is like the number one issue that I dealt with, and it was the worst of the worst. And I know for the guys who are dealing with this, whether skinny or heavy set, like, this shit sucks. All right. So we want you to get high test. We want you to minimize this as much as possible. What happens when you have high test? You have high energy, mood, and confidence. Supports motivation, mental sharpness, mood, stability, and overall drive. Who does not want that in their life? Now, raise your hand or type a 1 in the comments if this wouldn't make your life better, right? Metabolism and fat regulation. Helps your body keep lower fat, supports insulin sensitivity, and influences how the body stores energy. Muscle and strength. Drive protein synthesis and muscle growth, which are key performance, physical power, and maintaining lean mass. Bone density keeps bone strong and reduces fracture risk. Low T equals high risk of osteoporosis. Sexual health and reproduction. Fuels sex drive, sperm production, and erectile function. Without healthy testosterone levels, fertility and libido drops. Now, you want to have kids, you want to be able to have healthy kids at that, right? Having testosterone is going to be the thing that gets you there. Step one, sleep. Sleep is when your body makes most of the testosterone, specifically during your deep sleep. So no good sleep, no optimal testosterone levels. 8 hours of sleep is optimal. Pitch dark room, optimal. Dark room, cold room, optimal. Minimal noise, optimal. No eating 2 or 3 hours before bed, optimal. And minimal blue light. Now, some suboptimal options for you that you can do that will tank your testosterone. Sub 6 hour sleep, bright room, hot room, loud sleeping environments, eating before bed, and using your phone right before bed. Some short-term remedies. Now, I do want to say magnesium. You need to be taking magnesium every day. This is not a short-term play, but melatonin and sleep time team are. If you are having trouble sleeping at a good time or having good sleep, having good rest, you need to be taking melatonin at least once or twice a week. You don't want to overuse it. Same thing with sleep time tea. You don't want to overuse these things because it's like caffeine and nicotine. You can get addicted. To nutrition. Eating nutrient-dense whole foods with enough protein, healthy fats, and micronutrients is essential for making and maintaining healthy testosterone levels. And here are some optimal options for you. We got eggs, beef, fatty fish, cruciferous vegetables, avocados, blueberries, and kefir. And some suboptimal options: sugar, processed foods, alcohol, anything soy, refined carbs, seed oils, and fried foods. Now, I do want to tell you, like, most people who are serious about their health, they're eating everything on the optimal side and nothing on the suboptimal side. Now, everything in moderation is okay, but if you want to be elite and take it to the next level, you gotta make some pretty big sacrifices. But this is what it takes. If you want high testosterone levels, you're gonna have to cut some things out regardless, or minimize these things to once or twice a week. We don't want to be over consuming fried foods or sugar or alcohol. Alcohol in general, alcohol is probably one of the worst things that you can put into your system. But if you're gonna drink, minimize it to the furthest extent, right? Once a week, if that. Occasional drinking, once a month, once a year if you can, right? But I'm not telling you what to cut out or how you should cut it out, but it would be optimal to get these things out of your system as fast as possible. Number 3, activity. Exercise is one of the most powerful natural ways to boost and maintain testosterone through muscle growth, fat reduction, better sleep, and hormone balance. High test drivers are lean mass, resistance training, low body fat, and improves insulin sensitivity and metabolic health, and supports sleep quality. So the more lean muscle mass you have, the more testosterone you have, right? And that's not the case all around. There are some other factors that play into that, but typically the more lean mass you have on your body, the higher test you have. The lower fat you have on your body, the higher test you have. Now, that only goes to a certain extent, right? You don't want to go below 10% body fat, because sub 10 equals lower test, because it's lower energy, because fat is a fuel source. Same if you have too much fat, right? Too much fat equals low testosterone. This isn't just okay for fat people or people who eat unhealthy. This is for the guys who can't gain weight, which is a myth, right? Don't come at me for that, right? But I'm just saying, for the guys who claim they can't gain weight or are overweight, like, it's not just like, this is for everybody. Supplementation. Supplements aren't magic, but when paired with sleep, nutrition, and training, they act as reinforcements, giving your body what it needs to build and sustain high testosterone and peak performance. Now, some optimal supplements that you should all be taking. Vitamin D3 and K2, magnesium, zinc, omega-3s, and creatine. Now, talk to your doctor. I am not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist per se, but these are absolutely necessary to have in your supplement stack. Now, some people don't like taking supplements. I totally understand that. As long as you're eating a very nutrient-dense diet, honestly, you're better than 90% of the people. But if you want to take this to the highest level, like, supplements are key. Hydration is a direct testosterone support system. Clean water plus minerals in, plastic, sugary junk out equals optimal environment for testosterone to thrive. So some optimal options: water filter. Now this is absolutely necessary, and I'm not just talking about drinking water. I'm talking about all tap water that you shower with, water that you drink, water that you wash your hands with, right? It removes microplastics, fluoride, PFAs, and other hormone disruptors. Electrolytes, you need to be taking electrolytes because it doesn't matter how much water you drink, you can still be dehydrated. What electrolytes are is essentially sodium and minerals that soak into your muscles, into your body, to make sure that you are hydrated. So I take Bahal Salt Gold and LMNT. I take these together. I also put creatine in that as well. So I'll add Baja Gold Salt. I add LMNT, which is an electrolyte packet, one of the best that you can get, one of the best on the market, and creatine. I put those all in one because creatine soaks into your muscles. Creatine is meant to hydrate your muscles, hydrate your body, hydrate your brain. It's great for cognitive function. So when you add electrolytes, which is meant to hydrate you, with the creatine, it's a perfect pair. Stainless steel or glass cups. Again, microplastics, you want to stay as far as you can from them. Some suboptimal options will be unfiltered tap water. Now, these are going to contain chlorine, fluoride, microplastics, heavy metals, and endocrine disruptors. You do not want that in your body by any means. And I don't know how far I'm going to take it, but let's just say these things start to mess with your DNA, right? So over a long period of time, it takes a big effect on your health. And let's say you have kids, right? Because you're consuming all of these things in accumulation, now your seed, and let's just say your spouse is eating the same kind of diet, a really unhealthy diet, fried food all the time, drinking tap water. I mean, nobody drinks tap water. Maybe, but consuming heavy metals and endocrine disruptors, right? Now you have children, and now these children are biologically weaker than you, right? Because your DNA, because of the food choices that you decided to indulge in, right? This is how life works, and this is a generational play. This has been happening for years and years and years, and that's why we are the way that we are at this point, because we have slowly been being weakened. So sugary drinks, soda, energy drinks, sports drinks, spike insulin, raise inflammation, and lower testosterone. Plastic bottles, again, microplastics, you don't want to indulge in that. And dehydration is probably one of the worst things for testosterone. So hydration is one of, if not the most important factor, because hydration is what takes testosterone from A to B. Microplastics don't just sit in your body. They act like chemical signals that lower testosterone, raise estrogen, and disrupt reproductive health. Now, some optimal options for you: cotton, linen, silk, bamboo, leather for clothing and bedding, metal or glass for utensils and cookware, and bamboo for brushing teeth. Now, the types of microplastics that we're looking for to stay away from are polyester, BPAs, BPS, BPF, parabens, PFAs, and phthalates. So all of these things, you want to stay as far as possible from them. Now, I get it. Some people like to use cologne. If you're going to use cologne, just spray right on your clothes. Give it a few minutes. Try your best not to breathe it in. There's nothing wrong with spraying some cologne on your clothing, but let's try not to put it on our skin. Some suboptimal options: you do not want to use polyester anything, right? Polyester underwear literally shrinks your balls. Metal forks, metal spoons, metal knives, you don't want to use those. You want to stay as far away as possible from these things. Your identity, lifestyle habits turn testosterone from something that fluctuates to a day-to-day into a stable, powerful baseline that fuels energy, muscle, focus, and confidence long term. Now, here are some optimal plays for you. Waking up early, optimal. Making your bed when you wake up, come on, man. Breaking your fast with whole foods, non-negotiable. visualizing and affirming the man that you want to become. This will raise your testosterone by 10 points at least. Prayer. If you're relying on yourself, let me tell you something, buddy. You're not that great. 10 points testosterone right there. Having a schedule / planner. This is mandatory, guys. You cannot drive to California from Florida without a map. And this will be your map. Black coffee, be a man. Sunshine is optimal. Walking after a meal helps digestion, optimal. Any type of workout. You do not need to be a bodybuilder. You don't need to run marathons. You don't need to be a box. You just need to work out. You just need to be active. You just need to move your body, right? To the best of your abilities. Having a helpmate. We're going to get into that in just a minute. Nothing too crazy, but nicotine occasionally. Now, nicotine is a nootropic, so something like cigars or even Zins on occasion. I don't recommend using these multiple times a day. Maybe when you're trying to focus or do something, because it is a nootropic again. But again, I'm not a doctor. So let's go with some suboptimal options. Gooning, right? Let's go back to slide 2 where you guys saw my gynecomastia. Now, one of the main reasons that I had gyno was because I was just, watching inappropriate content at a young age for a long period of time. And over time, my gyno grew. Again, this is while I was through puberty. And this could happen in a couple of different ways. You're overweight. You're doing stuff like this that just cultivates an environment for low testosterone, and it's hard to get off. It's not something that you could just poof away. You have to do something about this. But again, it can be minimized when you're eating healthy foods, working out, and just taking care of yourself overall. So don't fret. Some people will have it worse than others, but some people don't, and this can be minimized. And no matter how bad it is, it can get better. Caramel macchiato. Now, if you go to Starbucks and go on a line and ask for a caramel macchiato, you just lost 100 testosterone points. It's kind of suspicious. No plan, no direction. Now, again, you can't do anything without a plan. You can't do anything without direction. Again, you cannot get to California from Florida without a map. Self-reliance. Again, prayer. We need to rely on something higher than ourselves because we are not that great, brother. If you're relying on yourself, minus 50 test. Peeing sitting down. Smoking anything outside of an occasional stogie. Now, again, cigars build testosterone. Again, I'm an occasional indulger myself. I'm not for or against anything, but if I know it's going to benefit me, I'm going to utilize it so I can get the edge on my competition, right? I'm not an advocate for cigarettes or vaping because those are actually bullshit, but an occasional stogie can't go wrong. Laziness. The more lazy you are, the more lazy you get. Doom scrolling. Let's do better, fellas. Asking other people how they feel about you. Minus 200 tests. Minus 200 tests. Eating cereal. Grown-ass man. Having a useless girlfriend. Now, when I said having a helpmate, this is what I meant. There are two types of women in this world. Women who are going to help you achieve your goals, or women who are going to watch you fail and just use you for your stuff. Even if it doesn't feel like they're trying to use you, it's unintentional. Listen, if they don't have anything else to offer but, a piece of ass, and, well, that's really it. They take your money. They give you a little bit of buns and call it a day. They annoy you, get on your nerves all the time. Like, what's the point? But somebody who makes sure your meals when they know that you want to lose weight or raise your test or build muscle mass, whatever the goal is. Somebody who helps you out with those things. Somebody who helps you achieve your goals, who doesn't want to get in your way but wants to see you succeed and raises you up. This is what a helpmate is. And lastly, watching anything outside of combat sports. Combat sports raise testosterone. It's a fact. Don't at me, right? So that is all that we have for today. We touched on the topics of sleep, nutrition, activity, supplementation, hydration, microplastics, and habits. Sleep is where most testosterone is produced, so consistent, high quality rest is non negotiable. Nutrition provides the raw materials, protein, fats, and key micronutrients that your body needs, that your body turns into hormones. Activity, especially strength training, signals your body to build muscle and naturally raises testosterone. To reinforce these pillars, supplementation fills nutrient gaps, supporting recovery, energy, and hormone balance when diet alone falls short. So now, the predecessors and multipliers is going to be hydration, keeps your body system working at peak blood flow, nutrition transport, and recovery all rely on it. Avoiding toxins like microplastics shields testosterone from estrogen like disruptors that suppress hormone production. And finally, it's habits that make all of this sustainable. Daily repetition of sleep, nutrition, training, and discipline turns short term boosts into a long term high testosterone lifestyle. Now, again, I wanted to make this video for people who did not have the information. Some people did, some people do, not everybody does. So if you want to start your journey, I highly suggest you to just change one thing today. Whether it's sleep, nutrition, activity, just do something different that's going to push you in the right direction. I promise you, if you utilize this video, it will serve you. All right, fellas, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.